The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The new revival, the rebooted version, Bel-Air. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the kid's called. I know this is his first role.
I don't know what his name is either.
But nah, this show right here, it's not based. To me, it's a reboot. It's not a sequel. It's its own thing. Honestly, if you would have called it something else and named everybody something else, I would have been okay with it because it's not beat for beat the same thing. But I understand why they went this route for promotional reasons to get eyes on it. But it's very different from the original. It's more dark. It's more realistic. The other one was like a comedy sitcom. Mm-hmm. This one, I like it. Will it be a classic like the original? Time will tell. I don't know. I can't say that right now. But what I want to do today is I want to compare the two. Okay. And I'm not going to compare it as in I like this show better than the other one. Like I said, they're very different. I want to compare the characters, the pros and cons, if we may. So we're gonna start with the characters. And like I said, the show is not beat for beat the same when it comes to the story, but they do have like certain aspects of the original show brought into this one. They just take a little bit, but they're still doing their own thing. They've changed a lot too. Mm-hmm. But let's go down the list. Let's go down the list of which one we like better and why. So I'm gonna start with like the lesser characters and then bring it to Will. So let's start with Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey in the original was just a British butler,
right.
And he was there for comedic purposes. He was just smart ass, and I thought he was hilarious.
Yes.
This one's like a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And I think he's from Jamaica or some islands. He's definitely not from England.
Right.
So in your opinion, which one do you prefer and why?
The original.
Original.
I mean,
Jeffrey was funny.
He's just, he was really funny, and he was just, I don't know. I just really liked like the persona that he had. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this other one, and I mean, it would be. I think that
it'd be weird to have a butler in 2022.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like in this this day and age, it would definitely be weird to have someone as that in that type of role. So it doesn't really make sense to have him like that. It definitely makes more sense to have what he is now.
Yeah.
In this role, and given the rest of the family and like who they are and their money and all of that stuff.
He's very mysterious and like I don't know. I don't like Jeffrey being very mysterious.
I feel like he's also partially mysterious though because I feel like
sketchiness
of Phil.
Phil, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement with you. I do prefer the Jeffrey. Jeffrey's just there for comedic purposes for me. Mm-hmm. I prefer that. But I understand why they didn't go the butler route, having a black man just be a server, like yes, muscle, you know. But I don't hate him. I don't think he's bad, but I prefer the other one.
I mean, he's just not around a lot.
He's really not.
He's there much less than the original was.
Yeah, he just goes out, does his dirt, and comes back. All right, Jazz. So this Jazz is very different. Yeah. Like the original Jazz, again, was for comedic purposes. One of Will's friends that he met when he moved to LA, and he was just there trying to hook up with girls and stuff like that. That was his it was his friend. Mm-hmm. This one, he's not an idiot like the other one was, and he's got a cool vibe to him.
I like this Jazz.
I think I prefer this Jazz. Now, no offense to Jazz, the real Jazz in real life, because he was very funny. Watching him get thrown out every episode is awesome. But this one, they kind of gave him, I don't know, like a voice of reason.
Yeah.
To some of the characters. And I can appreciate that. Like, you're not a main character, but like, you're pushing the plot in a positive way.
Right.
So I like that.
I feel like I wish he was a little bit more involved with Will.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times when we see him, it's more so with Hilly.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. Mm-hmm. I don't mind that. I like the two of them, and I like their dynamic. And
in the original, he always chased Hilly, and she wasn't feeling him. And this one, they seem like they both equally like each other.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I like that. I do just wish that we saw him more like with Will too.
Yeah. Because Will does need a best friend. He needs
because he really doesn't have that.
Really doesn't have it. Yeah. He's with Lisa a lot, but I thought that's where they were going with it in the beginning when they first met, and there was a couple episodes like that was literally just those two together, but then they branched apart. They're not beefing or anything, but they're just
They're not. We don't see them together, really.
But I'm with you, though. I would have liked to see more of a dynamic with them, but I think I'm with you. I prefer the new Jazz. Let's go with Lisa.
Okay.
Because Lisa should have been the first one I mentioned, because Lisa really wasn't a main character in the original. She was like there for 1 season, maybe 2.
Yeah.
He was one of many of Will's girlfriends, played by the beautiful Nia Long.
But she was like more important.
She was more important
definitely
to
more
the point
important.
they got engaged. They were about to be married, and she called it off. In a weird turn event, her dad and his mom ended up getting married. That was pretty weird. Funny.
Very weird.
But after that, you never saw her again, and the show still went on. I don't understand the purpose of that, but I liked the little time that she had there. Mm-hmm. So they made her more of a character in this. I think by default, I'm going to like this one more, just because the other one we didn't know that well.
Yeah.
You know, she was just this is the only girl you've seen on the Bel-Air show with him.
Right.
But in the Fresh Prince, he had a different girl every episode.
Right.
So like when you finally get one that's like, you know, there for a little bit, you're still like, yo, I did like the stuff he did with Tanisha Campbell. I did like, you know, other girlfriends. Mm-hmm. You're like, I don't know, in my opinion, you're like, you're just kind of waiting for the next one. Mm-hmm. And I liked her presence, but she never like, I never was in love with that character, I guess. Mm. This one right here, though, I can understand why they're keeping her as a cast member like every episode.
I like her character a lot.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. And it gives you more depth about like the past of her mother and the struggle she's known with her father and his relationships and her past relationship with Carlton. Like, you know, you're giving her more depth for me to like her.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
And with that, like learning about her, you're also learning about other cast members because she's so involved with the family as it is. Like you're learning more about Carlton,
right?
As just Carlton, you know, you're learning more about Viv. Yeah. Like you're learning a lot more about those characters and kind of like who they are and the relationships they've had and things they've dealt with not because of Lisa, but through her.
Exactly. Yeah, because she's kind of the branch, because Will doesn't know a lot of what's going on in his own family, but she's close to the family, like you were saying. Let's get to the controversial one, Ashley. I had a big crush on the original Ashley, Tatiana Ali. I'm a big fan of Tatiana.
Named after her.
Yes. I had a crush on her back in the day, so I don't know if I'm a little biased in this, but I feel like equally they didn't get enough shine on both shows.
Yeah.
So that's the fair answer I'll give. The changes though, and we'll talk about this. So the original Ashley was the little girl that looked up to Will.
Yeah.
And she always wanted to be around. She was like the only one that kind of like gassed him up and like thought he was cool.
Right.
And she was always a positive little girl.
Yeah.
And even when she grew up, you know, it was weird seeing her with guys. It was weird seeing her grow up.
Right.
You know, too. But she was always that cute little girl. I think they nailed it with another cute little girl. But this one has a little bit of a twist. This one is gay. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't have a problem with any character being gay. You know, I'm not gonna sound right wing and be like, oh, you're forcing gays in my face. You're forcing blacks in my face. Don't stop it. I can't. Oh, I'm melting. I'm not that type of person. But I will say this. I don't want to be on that side.
Yeah.
But I will say this. It does kind of seem a little forced, the gay stuff.
Yeah.
Because if it was a struggle in her family about accepting that or anything like that, then I can see why they did that. But it was just a moment and people moved on. And I would have loved to see more of that, I guess.
I mean, I wonder, the show's not completely over yet, or is this the last one?
I think we just need to watch one more episode, yeah.
So I wonder if this is something that they'll address later, which, I mean, I feel like at this point they kind of like lost the momentum of it. Like if they were going to address it, then they should have addressed it much closer to the time when we found out that she was gay. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we don't really know what the family thinks about it because the only one she's talked to about it is Hilary. She's literally the only one that knows.
And from a writing perspective too, I think if you did want to go that route of, you know, exploring that a little bit more, I don't have a problem with it. But there's just so much going on to sprinkle, hey, Ashley's gay. It was just kind of like, okay, but I'm invested in all this other stuff, and And if you want me invested in that, you got to give me a little bit more than this. Like, I'm gay for an episode and we're moving on.
Well, that's why I said I feel like they should have delved into it soon after saying, you know, she's gay instead of, I mean, if they even go back to it.
And one of my favorite moments in the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was Ashley getting in a fight with a bully and Will coaching her how to deal with it. Like the whole back up, mind your business. That's all, just mind your business. You know, I would have loved, like, because like we said, the show kind of does topics from the original and explores on it a little bit more. I thought that was probably her best moment in the original series. I would have like maybe seen something with that, you know, because there was nothing. If you want to do something original, cool, explore a little bit more. But I don't know, for that moment right there, and she hasn't really had anything to just make me like, oh, I'm in love with this character. I gotta give it to the original Ashley. What are your thoughts though? Do you like the new one though?
I don't dislike the new one. I don't think there's enough.
Yeah.
To make me feel any type of way about her other than like, okay, she's cool. Like, she's there.
They threw this poor girl in the trunk.
That's basically what it is. Like, she's just there. I mean, she doesn't really have much significance to the show. Like, there's no stakes with her. There's nothing that she really contributes to the show. Like, she doesn't take or give anything away from the show at this point. So I mean, there's really I can't really say that I like her better just because she's not. Yeah. At this point, anyway, in the show.
Okay.
There's nothing to be wowed about, like you said.
So you're going with the original as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Tatiana wins
I'm also
again.
Slightly biased, but
yeah, I am too. Hilly. I'll say in the original, Hilary wasn't even my favorite character. I thought she was cute, and I thought like some of the stuff she said was funny, but I always thought her character was just like overly dumb sometimes.
Right.
To the point like it wasn't that attractive.
Really, the best part about her character was just getting to see all her clothes.
Yes.
Which is still a really, really cool thing in this one.
Yes.
She still wears the coolest clothes.
So at the beginning, I think, you know, it was just me trying to get used to a character, like, because these, out of all of them, are probably the polar opposites. I would say out of all of them are 100% different. We'll get to Carlton later, but
yeah,
maybe I'll have to retrace what I just said. But this one's very different. This one's intelligent. This one's independent. This one is, you know, a lot of
trying to do her own thing.
She does her own thing, confidence, all that stuff. Basically, everything the opposite of the original Hilary.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it was something to get used to. I was like, okay, we need kind of a comic relief here, and I think Hilary would have been perfect for this. With that being said, though, when we started diving into her trying to be independent and her, you know, looking for a way to just going on that grown-up path.
Right.
Because she is the oldest.
A way to be an adult, make money, you know, find you know, your career, things like that. Then
I started liking her a lot, to the point, like, I don't even like the other Hilary.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to watch the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I probably will be like, it will seem more cringe now. So I'm 100% on board with this new Hilary. I think she's a very great improvement. No offense to the other one. Like I said, I always thought she was pretty and funny. But, man, they made that black woman stupid as fuck. And it's just great to see an empowered, smart, intelligent black woman, because she's being raised by one.
Right.
So, you know, it's gotta rub off on one of these kids.
One of them's got to come out right.
One of them's got to come out right, you know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I never, like, adored the original Hilary. I always thought she was really stupid and cringe anyway. So when I saw this one, I was like, of course, like, from the get-go, I was like, she's awesome. I like her. So it's like a no-brainer for me.
Gotcha.
I like the new one for sure. And I mean, like I said, like with the clothing and stuff, like that was like the coolest thing about Hilary. That's what I liked about Hilary from the original, is like she just always wore like really unique and like cute clothes.
Right.
And like this one, she still does, and it's I think it's cool because you still get that same vibe from her clothing that you get from the originals. Yeah. Clothing, you know what I mean? Like the 2-piece sets and stuff like that. Like you still get that same vibe, but it's more modernized. So I think that's actually kind of cool. Like it's like a little hint of like the original Hilary thrown in there without making her stupid. So I like that.
I kind of wish they would have brought Trevor back though. You remember her boyfriend that died from Hilary, I love you.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of funny. Like, that would have been a cool throwback. And then, like, her grieving, and then she gets with Jazz or something.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I would have wrote it. But, you know, I can understand why I didn't do that, because this Hilary doesn't seem like she would go for a guy like that. You know, he was just a rich guy, and he wasn't that intelligent.
Yeah, but that's what the original was all about. She just wanted money. She just wanted to be able to spend money and get more clothes, basically. That's like all she cared about was having money to spend on clothing.
And that wasn't the best message, but at the same time, they did show that she wasn't that smart, so that's not the right way to live life.
Right.
So the next character, we'll go to Aunt Viv. I'm going to say about Aunt Viv, I like them both equally. Specifically Black Aunt Viv. Darker Aunt Viv in the original. I can see this one definitely takes the trope from that one.
For sure.
No offense to light skin Aunt Viv. I thought she was a warm, wholesome, nice person that, to me, reminded me of my mom. But I feel like dark skin Aunt Viv was more
I feel like your mom is a mix of the Vivs.
You could say that. I could see
because your mom is definitely has a lot of...
She's outgoing, too. Yeah.
Those same, I don't know, tropes, I guess, as
I
black...
agree.
As dark skin.
I agree.
For sure.
So, yeah, you're right. So, I think this one's basically based off of the original, though. And I think I like him equally. The other one did get a good amount of time to shine. You know, she had her episodes where she sang and danced and stuff like that. This one's more of an artist.
Yeah, she like paints.
And the thing I don't like about this one, though, I don't like the fact that she's not cheating on her husband, but she does seem like she's entertaining it, I guess. She's not cheating, doesn't look like she is going to, but she likes the attention. I don't think the other Aunt Viv would be like that. Not to compare too much, but I prefer my Aunt Viv to be like, yo, back the fuck off of me. I like my man. I love my man.
I see what you're saying, and I feel like I understand why she's acting in the way that she's acting. I feel like more so than like disliking Aunt Viv for that reason, I just don't like Michael Ealy. Really, that's how I feel. Like I don't like Michael Ealy like in this.
You don't
type
like his
of
character because you love him in real life.
Everyone loves Michael Ealy in real life.
Don't get it twisted. She
men,
loves her so
men
much.
like Michael Ealy in real life. Yeah. So.
No, I don't dislike her,
it's not him like as like an actor or even necessarily like as a character. I just don't like the way that like they are interacting like in this. Like I don't like that vibe that they're giving. Like I feel like they're at the beginning anyway. Like when they first kind of got introduced, like they were trying to throw that that narrative and kind of like that vibe in everybody's head. Like like is he gonna try some shit? Are they gonna do something?
He's creepy.
And then he's fucking weird. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him. But I think that it's just weird. I kind of wish that they didn't try and throw that narrative.
Yeah.
Because now it seems like the narrative is just over. Like it doesn't seem like it's going to happen, like you said. So it just feels like it was kind of all for nothing, just like with the Ashley situation. Like, okay, like what was the point of this? Like you could have just let him be in the gallery person and just left it at that instead of adding this extra stuff.
I understand why they did it though.
I think that they did it really for the last conversation that her and Phil had.
Yeah,
because that was really important.
Their relationship. And, you know, this was an eye opening for him.
Right.
So I get why they did it.
And which is what I was saying too about like understanding why she's acting in the way that she's acting, just because not that she's necessarily trying to get back at Phil for like how she feels.
She's just appreciating
but I think that she's just like, you know, like this person appreciates my art.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that because you don't pay attention. And I like that, and I think that's fair, and I think that it's understandable for her to act in that way. Like when you have a passion, you didn't really pursue it as an artist. You went and became a teacher because you became a mom, and you felt like you didn't really have any other choice. But your husband got to excel. Yeah, and that happens all the time. Yeah, it happens a lot for women, and it sucks because when you start families, it's almost always the mom that stays back and stays home with the kids until they get to a certain point. And then they don't get to go back where they left off. They have to start over from the bottom and make their way back up. Whereas the guy, most of the time, they don't really take time off. And they get to continue to excel. So by the time that the mom gets back to where she's at, dad's all the way up here and she's back at the bottom again. Yeah. So I really do like that they did that with her and are like exploring that, because I feel like it's really important, and I feel like it's enlightening to, you know, just make awareness of that situation, because it's something that happens literally to so many women out there that decide to have families. They feel like they can't pursue their own, you know, enjoyment, and you know, that shouldn't be that way. They should try to like level it out, you know. I think that's
I agree.
What a couple, a wife and husband or whatever should do.
That's not even like, I like that stuff, but that's not even my favorite part of Aunt Viv. I like that dynamic between her and her sister.
Yeah.
There was actually an episode kind of like that in the original, where she was wanting Will to come back to Philly, and it didn't happen because he was just like, you know, I'm better off here. So they dived on this, but at the same time, they show that there was like a little bit of friction.
For sure. A lot of friction.
In their relationship when it came to their parents, stuff like that.
A lot of friction.
I love, that might be some of my favorite stuff in the show.
Yeah.
And that right there, to me, makes her certified, like, as an actress, as a character. Like, you know, she's got her struggles with her family, her main family, and her sister and stuff like that. But just trying to live her life.
Right.
And be creative. She's going through a lot. She might be my favorite.
I feel like she's really the one that kind of holds it all.
She is
together, like.
But she's got to have time for herself too. It's like a lot of families have that person. Yeah,
it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I really like her character, because I feel like she's
my favorite.
She feels like a real woman.
Yeah.
And I also really like the fact that, like, regardless of how much money they have, the fact that they live where they live, that they have this amazing, like, a mansion basically, like, they have all of this stuff. She is still living that same lifestyle that low-income women are living when it comes to things like that.
I kind of wish the original Aunt Viv was kind of like that. Like, we forget because in the original, he had a dope dynamic with Uncle Phil. He had a dope relationship with Uncle Phil. In this one,
he has a better relationship with her. In
this one. And you can understand why. That's his blood relative.
Right.
And, you know, his mom's sister.
It feels also weird.
So I like that a lot. I kind of wish they would have had more of a relationship in the original. But I'm just going to say about Aunt Viv, I like them both equally. This is going to be the rare one. I'm like, I can go for both.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't like one either.
I think that I could go for both. I think that I might like this one a little bit more.
Okay.
Just because of what we just talked about. You know, just all of that, and her feeling very raw and real, and still like dealing with those things that like women deal with, regardless of money, regardless of status, regardless of all of those things. It's still just a women-centered issue, and I appreciate them exploring that. So I think that I like her slightly more in this one, just for dealing with those things.
Yeah.
Or at least the writing, I guess. I like the writing on her a little bit more on this one, but I love original Aunt Viv as well.
So next one, we're gonna talk about Uncle Phil. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not a big fan of this new one. I
hated him at the beginning. And then he got kind of better, and now I feel like I'm back to like, down. And I don't hate him, but the
episode where the stomping of the yard or whatever.
Right.
That was a good episode.
Okay, I might like him a little bit more after this.
When he was keeping it real.
Nah,
I can understand that criticism of him not having his family in order. The original Uncle Phil would never. Like, there's a lot going on where he would have just been like, yo, everybody get your ass in here. I love the original. And I'm not saying this because rest in peace, James Avery. You know, rest in peace, Uncle Phil, for real. I'm not just saying this in his remembrance. That Uncle Phil was a father.
Right.
That Uncle Phil. To America. That Uncle Phil was a role model. He was teaching life lessons. He was, you know, correcting. He was turning boys to men. This one right here, and I don't hate him. He's a different Uncle Phil, so I can't keep comparing these two. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of his parenting. I'm not a big fan of his choices that he's making in his relationships. I'm not a big fan of Uncle Phil running for an office. I love Uncle Phil as a judge. I love Uncle Phil like, you know, more of a family man. This guy seems like he tries to live two different lives, and it's just not working out for him. I don't like Uncle Phil living two different lives. I like him to be that role model because he doesn't have to be that role model. This is not his blood relative. He's doing it for his wife. Even that was clear in the original, but he grew into being his son. We saw that evolution. This, I don't know. He just seems like, oh, this guy helped me get a couple votes. Maybe I do like this kid. What? Come on, that's not cool. So hands down, he probably is my least favorite character on this. I'm just gonna keep it real, and I don't hate him. And if he doesn't throw Jazz out one time, I'm gonna really hate him.
I mean, but Jazz seems like he ain't given no reasons to be thrown out.
For sure.
One, so
he's actually won't. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably my least favorite also. I think that so I feel like he's kind of like Ashley. Like, he's not giving enough for me to feel any type of way about him other than, like, just kind of
Well, I disagree.
Like,
I think they've given me enough for me to make an opinion that I don't like him. He's got a good amount.
Let me, rephrase. So, like, he's definitely, he's around more than Ashley is, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just mean, I don't know.
He's sketchy. He's not being totally honest with his wife.
Yeah, he's
Phil
not.
Never.
Yeah, he's totally like not being a good husband, like, at all.
Not being a father, like,
and it's annoying too that like with like all the politics stuff, like all he seems to care about right now is the politics.
Yeah.
And I can see kind of like why that might be someone's mindset, like that's like what they're trying to do, and like they're trying to do it for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is affecting you so much to the point that you're like getting onto your family about the things that they're doing or choices that they're making just because you think that the public isn't going to like what they do, to me that's not fair.
Yeah, I don't think Uncle Phil would ever choose his career over his family.
Yeah.
Regardless of like how rich they are and how well off they are, I think he still had those family values. Like,
right.
I think he would go to the projects with his family if it took that, as opposed to winning an election. I don't know. I just don't like I don't like the shadiness of him. I don't.
Yeah, and I want to know what the hell what they do to Will's dad. That's what
maybe they said in the next episode.
Maybe that comes up, but I'm like, okay, so something's shady here. What's going on?
I'm rooting for Will Smith to play his father. I think that would be perfect because they look kind of alike, and it would be full circle moment for him to play the son, now to play the father. It'd be
weird.
It'd be weird, but like it'd be good, like for an acting thing, like for him to change it up.
It'd be good. Marketing is what it would be.
That's the only thing that to me that's what got people watching it.
Absolutely.
So let's move on. I think we're in agreement that we like James Avery's Uncle Phil a lot better.
Yeah, this one is just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like him.
I think they could have did a little bit better writing on him. Let's go to Carlton. This one's another one that's like a big flip of difference.
Huge.
Now, is it really that different though?
Yes.
So
to a.
No,
not really.
It's kind of different, but it's not. Like people.
He's just very extreme.
Yes, people are calling him out for being a punk bitch, which he is. He's a drug addict in this one, but at the same time, take away the comedic stuff in the original. Is he really that much different?
No, he's just extreme.
He was very jealous of Will, and there was episodes where he was like, "Yo, Dad, what about us? Giving Will a little bit more attention." I don't think he was ever a punk bitch about women like that, though. I don't think he really. I think he was more wanting to excel in school, in which they do touch on that. He has issues.
He's trying to be valedictorian
and all this stuff. But I don't think he ever was tripping over girls like that. But I understand the writing of it, so this is why I don't hate this one. I'm not gonna go like.
I hated him at first.
I did too, but when you understand the mental health of like. All the pressure that's taken and being in an all-white school. I know that pressure of being in an all-white school. I can understand why he turned to drugs. Do I agree with it? No, but like I do like the spin on it. I do like, okay, this is
wasn't
different.
even the drugs that I didn't necessarily like. I just didn't like his attitude.
He was letting a lot of racist shit go. I love when he finally stood up to it. That was a great episode. I like that he's kind of like, warming up to his cousin. But in the original, they would butt heads, but it was like comedic. These two, they want to kill each other sometimes.
Yeah.
It gets different. But again, I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. I actually thoroughly enjoy how they're doing Carlton. It's very different. People don't like it, but you know what? I feel like this is a different spin for a good reason.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna say that I like him more. I do like the original Carlton. He was probably my favorite in original. He was very funny. He was different. And of course, there was an episode where he was called a sellout. He had a very good moment where they
went to the frat.
The frat, yeah, that was probably one of my favorite Carlton moments. I feel like that his character is just based on that Carlton in that moment, which that's what I can appreciate that. So I'm gonna say, biasly, I like the original because he was my favorite character, but I really appreciate the new spin on this. Like, I can give it a lot of props. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I think I'd agree. I mean, I think that, I don't know, the original Carlton is just kind of iconic. Yeah. At this point. That it's hard to have. Almost, just like Uncle Phil, like iconic at this point. Like, it's hard to find someone or write someone the original that Carlton is going to be able to level up to that status. But I like the fact that he's a roller coaster. Yeah. And you just kind of don't know what you're gonna get. He's kind of bipolar.
Well, that's what cocaine does.
He's very, I don't know, he's like kind of all over the place, but
it threw everybody off. They're like, okay, now that makes sense why he was so hyper in the original. Maybe he was on cocaine.
So it was interesting.
In the original, we saw an evolution of Will. I feel like in this one you see an evolution of Carlton.
For sure.
Because Will has not really changed that much.
No.
Like he's just really he's in a different atmosphere. Right. So he had in the atmosphere of being in Philly, you had to act hard, you had to be tough and all that stuff. But he doesn't have to act this way, so he's like, all right, I'll just be myself. He's
really just acting like him and taking taking advantage of all the good things that he has where he's at, really.
So to me, I feel like the spin on Carlton actually evolving, like, okay, my behavior is affecting my loved ones.
Right.
I want to kill my cousin. My ex-girlfriend doesn't want nothing to do with me. Like, he's having coming to Jesus moments, and I can love and respect that. I like that.
I'm helping my friend plant drugs on my cousin.
My racist friend. Like, come on, man. And I just love that he just like had enough of it and stood up to him. I like this Carlton, man. I'm not gonna be a hater like everybody else on him, but again, bias. I think I do prefer the other Carlton, just because he's got so many more iconic moments. You gotta let this one sit for a little bit before I can enjoy him a little bit more.
It's hard to say like, okay, like this one is more iconic, but just because like how many seasons were there of the original?
Like 7, I think. Yeah.
And we haven't even finished the first one yet, so. Yeah. But I don't know.
Will. This is gonna be controversial. I think I actually prefer the new Will, and here's why. The original Will, funny. I think he was just jokey. He had, maybe you could count on your hands, 5 like heartwarming moments where Will Smith killed it. Of course, the father episode, the episode where he got shot, episode where they get arrested. He's that stapled him as a brilliant actor, and he went on to do great things.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's a phenomenal dramatic actor.
Wouldn't be shit without this show. With that being said, though, I think that they chose the best moments from that show and made it into this character.
Yeah.
And for this to be like his first gig, and to be just like hitting every emotion, because you could tell he's doing Will Smith impressions, and he's nailing Will Smith impressions. But he's giving you every emotion in scenes. He's sad. He's angry. He's jokey. He's happy. He's mad. With the original Will, he was just happy all the time. He's just happy trying to get a date and stuff like that. This one, he's got more depth. He's got more layers. We're getting more of the story of why he's actually there. You know the theme song. Everybody knows the theme song. Right. We know why he's there. But do we really know like how deep that was? And I feel like
I like how you see how it affects him.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. We see what happened, and now he's in Bel-Air, but he's still kind of having PTSD moments from that shit. I love the writing on Will, and it seems like they put a lot on there. So
effort, for sure.
Controversial. I think I might like the new Will better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's
I love Will Smith, by the way. I love Will Smith in the original.
It's a little hard to say. I don't know. I love both of them. I mean, I don't know. There's just like something about like that vibe that you get from watching Will Smith, like in the original, you know? I don't know. It's just kind of like something I guess kind of always to like look forward to is like his vibe that he like puts out. But I do like you said, the writing is just really, really strong on him.
Especially
as well,
with him
like
in particular,
yeah, and
now he doesn't have any groundbreaking performances though, like Will in those moments I said.
Right.
But like I said, it takes a while to get to those moments. Like
I feel like this one is more like
100.
I feel like it's like those moments more stretched out.
So
like,
it's part of his.
They're
character.
kind of every little bit instead of one big one every season.
Once a season.
Yeah.
That's why I can appreciate this one. Like this is him.
You have more realistic emotions coming out of him, you know, because like you ever been around someone that they're like just like all you ever see is like they're happy, like in real life, like you're around someone and they're just happy all the time. You're like, why the fuck are they happy? You know what I mean? Like, why are you so happy? Like, it's annoying. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
But this one is just like he has like a real, you know, like emotional output. Yeah. You know, you're not always going to be happy. You're not always going to be mad or sad or whatever the situation is. Like, it's going to be something different every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like that. But I also like, I like the way that, I mean, and this was from like the original as well, but I like the way that in this one, he seems very, I don't know, very like insightful and like, he really like pays attention to like everybody else, and he has a really good way at being able to like go to those people and speak to those people in a way that doesn't make them feel bad or necessarily guilty about whatever it is that they did, but talking to them in a way that like is positive and saying like, okay, like this happened, maybe we should do this instead. Like he was talking to like his mom and his aunt and stuff, and was just like, okay, like we're grown up, we're adults, like let's, you know, go have a conversation like adults, you know, figure it out.
The original Will would never be like that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, I think that, like, to some degree, sometimes, like, he was, like, a little bit just,
Rarely.
like with Ashley or something like that. Like, he was, like, he had a good way of, like, being able to, like, talk with people and saying, like, okay, like, this is what you should do. Like, he had, like, good advice, I guess. But I like the way that they, like, really took that and kind of ran with that. And I like that trait.
But to circle back to Uncle Phil, I feel like the original got like that within time. He evolved with the parenting of Uncle Phil. This Will is kind of already like that.
Right.
And because this Uncle Phil ain't teaching him shit.
Right. I mean, it's really like, I think his mom.
Yeah,
his mom. He's learned so much from his mom.
A little bit from his aunt, too. Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's our comparison. There's our pros and cons about the characters. Overall, the show, we have to watch the last episode.
Yep, we need to watch that like now.
What to do, Jive Turkeys? So I have now finished the finale of season 1 of Bel-Air, and I gotta say, I enjoyed the tense back and forth between Will and Will's father, played by freaking Marlon Wayans. That was a surprise. I was hoping for Will Smith, but Marlon came through, and if you've had any question if Marlon can act, watch this. I've already knew he could act. He's actually a very layered actor. You know, take away that he's a very silly and funny comedian. He's actually a very good actor, and I love the back and forth between him and Will. I thought that was perfect. I want to see more of that, hopefully in season 2. I did say something earlier about Uncle Phil, how I didn't like his character. Now, episode 9, I loved the switcheroo of him not wanting to pursue running for office. I thought that was a very Uncle Phil thing to do. But then, episode 10, he goes back to being that Uncle Phil I don't like. That being said, I overall love this show, and I would love to see a season 2. And yeah, I loved some of the changes. I loved a lot of the changes, actually. This is a whole different show, so if you want everything to be beat for beat, you're watching the wrong thing. But I like where they're going with this. Great writing.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and this came from like a passion project. Someone made a fake trailer of a more in-depth version of this, and Will Smith saw this and was like, yo, we gotta
do it.
So if you're a YouTuber, if you're somebody that wants to make film, why not do something like that?
Yeah.
I would love to. I want to do a fake trailer for a different version of Different Strokes. I would love to do like a flip version of a black parent with white children, and just how the original was a white guy with black children. I would love to do that. Maybe I'll get picked up for a Different Strokes reboot. But
don't give up.
Anyways, what are your thoughts on this show? Do you like it? Do you like the original better? Do you like the new one better? Do you like some aspects of the new one and some aspects of the old one? Let us know all your thoughts on this show. Overall, I'm glad they made it.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. Much love, peace, and chicken grease.